My name is Carla Schoonover-Porter, and I am the co-founder of the 134 PAC. It's a PAC that is created to support rural county parties and rural candidates. Progress Texas and Chris, y'all are a voice of reason. You provide information that is factual, energizing, motivating. I mean, it's something that we all love to hear. I support Progress Texas with a monthly donation because I believe that we need to support those organizations and those individuals that speak for us, that advocate for us, and give us information daily that helps us make Texas a better place for ourselves and our families.
It's Thursday, February 19th, 2026, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch. Rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. As we enter the third day of early voting in the 2026 primary, Texans are voting our butts off. We're seeing a conspicuous spike in Democratic turnout as of late yesterday. 81,394 votes cast in the Democratic primary, almost doubling the pace of the 2022 midterm in its second day. That's a highly encouraging current figure for Texas Democrats. Over on the other side, perhaps not as dramatically, but definitely a rise in Republican early voting interest as well, about 20% above the 2022 pace, but slightly outpacing Democrats in total votes at 82,664. Hear this clearly. Democrats doubled, Republicans rose 20%, and Republicans hold the lead. This should serve as a reminder of the true nature of the game in Texas. Democratic wins are certainly possible with all this enthusiasm, but we are playing from behind. And wins in November are a lot less likely should Democratic determination and Democratic unity falter for any reason at all. The drama and the national, global stakes of the Texas midterm primaries are capturing national attention. At the New York Times, Michelle Cottle writes of the Texas fever dream and the possibilities and challenges it faces in an effort to come true in 2026. One advantage of the inspiring Taylor Ramette run in Tarrant County is highlighted here by its grassroots local tone, a reliable way that Texas Dems can gain an edge when they, quote, embrace normie candidates who fit their districts, unquote. Mr. Ramette kept things local. He spoke to voters about housing prices, the rising cost of health insurance, and the turmoil in local school districts. He steered clear of culture warring and partisan vitriol, and the results speak for themselves. Not only Republicans in the hot seat here, the Democratic establishment should be watching all of this closely as well and considering how it reflects on how their own base views their management of the first year of Trump 2.0. Ashley Lopez at PBS noting that Texas is providing perhaps an early national indicator on, quote, how fired up Democratic voters are. Primaries by nature motivate base voters, and this is part of the Democratic Party that is really upset right now. Base voters are telling Democratic leaders they're unhappy with the people they have in power. They're unhappy with the way Democrats have been handling the second term of the Trump administration, unquote. A couple other notes on early voting as Republican efforts to screw things up on the local level, to use their words, just because we can, are perhaps not working out especially swimmingly. Natalia Contreras of the Texas Tribune and Vote Beat says Gillespie County Republicans have scaled back their plans to hand count this year's primary votes. It turns out nobody wants to do drudgerous, obsolete work likely to result in failure. And the Gillespie GOP has mostly thrown in the towel due to an insurmountable shortage of volunteers. They say they'll use electronic tabulators for the 2-week early voting period, which is underway, though they stubbornly and inexplicably still insist they'll hand count ballots cast on Election Day, March 3rd. You might be shocked to learn that this episode has MAGA types out in the Hill Country locked in a bit of a schoolyard tiff, with Party Chair Bruce Campbell focused on the task of meeting the state-mandated 24-hour reporting deadline and the legal penalties that could come from the state with failure, while the more feisty Republican precinct chairs out there are far less concerned with such formalities. Gillespie County Election Administrator Jim Riley has expressed worry over what he calls childish behavior and chaotic internal debates within the local GOP, warning that the friction could harm Gillespie's broader election integrity. All a huge surprise, I know. Over to Dallas County, where the local Republicans also love to play goofy games. Maria Trahan Martinez at KERA says Dallas GOP Chair Alan West, who himself has pushed for hand-counted primary election ballots, which didn't work out, and for voting at locations separated by party, that has worked out. As we've talked about, Dallas County voters will lose the ability to vote in any polling place that they enjoy right now during early voting on Election Day. a move certain to create confusion and ultimately uncast votes in both primaries. Very interesting that after all that hard work to make voting in Texas harder, Dallas County GOP Chair Allen West chose the easy way on Tuesday. He cast his ballot at the Joint Voting Center at the South Garland Library. We did a deep dive on all of this on a recent Progress Texas Happy Hour podcast with Dallas County Democratic Party Chair Cardall Coleman and Williamson County Democratic Party Chair Kim Gilby, whose county is also suffering from similar MAGA shenanigans. See the link to that podcast talk in the show notes. Again, to reiterate, if you're voting in either Dallas or Williamson counties on Election Day, Tuesday, March 3rd, you will have to do it at the precinct-specific location indicated by your home address, a completely unnecessary and stupid complication affecting all voters, courtesy of your local Republican Party. The awful story surrounding the death of a staffer of Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez of West Texas is blowing up into the national scandal that it was perhaps destined to become. Back to the New York Times and writers J. David Goodman and Edgar Sandoval, who say Regina Ann Santos Aviles, a Gonzales regional district director who committed suicide at the age of 35 last September, 5 months prior to her death, sent a text message to a coworker admitting that she had had an affair with the congressman, a married father of 6 kids. The coworker this week shared the text exchange with reporters at the San Antonio Express-News and the New York Times. Ms. Santos Aviles had been living separately from her husband in her final months, and yesterday the husband's attorney corroborated to reporters that she had confessed the affair with Gonzalez to her husband in June of 2024. The attorney continues that Ms. Santos Aviles broke off the affair, but as her marriage collapsed and she began to feel blacklisted at Congressman Gonzalez's office, her mental state deteriorated, ending in her suicide by fire in her Uvalde backyard. All of this, of course, coming to light as early voting is underway. Tony Gonzalez is locked in a primary challenge from his right by Brandon Herrera, a.k.a. the AK guy, a firearms enthusiast and Proud Boy type who nearly beat Gonzalez in 2024. There are 4 Democrats running for nomination in CD23, and just a few days ago, we published a forum with them hosted by our friend Reagan Stone. See the link to that live podcast in the show notes this morning as well. Our mission at Progress Texas is to improve and save Texans' lives by acting on our shared bold progressive values, and that starts with countering the billionaire and corporate-funded conservative disinformation machine. While we enjoy the support of hundreds of partners, chances are that you, dear listener, haven't joined the team yet. If you're a regular, please join our team right now as a sustaining monthly supporter like Margaret Hetherington, Leslie Berry, and Jennifer Barnes all have. Join them and us at progresstexas.org/donate right now. Early voting in the 2026 primary is underway and continues through Friday, February 27th. Election Day is Tuesday, March 3rd. And runoffs are likely beyond that. See the show notes for a ballot form from the Texas Tribune that works with your home address to show who's running in the primary in which you choose to vote. Everything you need to know about voting in Texas can be found at govotetexas.org. Since the new year, Progress Texas has devoted coverage and advocacy to the issues you're passionate about, and like no other outlet, has given you direct access to the candidates in the biggest races in the country, Texas legislative, statewide, and federal elections. Join us as we work to raise $14,000 in February. Whether you give $35, $100, or $500, any contribution brings us closer to our goal and ensures Progress Texas can advance our Project 2026 plans, including Spanish media and radio expansion. While you're at the website, snag some merch to match your values. Our web store is live and ready for you to grab some newly released Humans Against Abbott, Y'all Means All, and Revolution shirts, stickers, and buttons. Hit the web store at progresstexas.org to support your favorite podcast network today. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Links to all of these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is an independent, nonprofit, rapid response media organization. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.